The Hay Festival of Literature and the Arts is one of Europe's most prestigious cultural events. It was once described by Bill Clinton as the Woodstock of the mind. The festival's Spanish sibling, Hay Festival Segovia, is now in its 5th year, and once again it has delivered a prolific programme of cultural curiosities. In front of a packed crowd, IE School of Architecture's Associate Dean for External Relations, Martha Thorne, spoke with internationally renowned architect Shigeru Ban. Before the event, Martha and Shigeru had a quiet chat about the teaching of students, the diversity of Shigeru's work, and innovation in architecture.
I've heard you talk about innovation and say that that's something that you strive for. Could you explain a little bit to me what you mean by that?
I think I like to do something different from others instead of just copying the fashionable style. Actually, I'm not inventing anything new. I always look at some existing material differently. The tube made of recycled paper, the laminated bamboo. I know that we can build stable, strong, durable structure out of weak material, so that the strength and durability of the building itself has nothing to do with the strength of the material. So nowadays people always try to make something stronger and try to make a structure more like acrobatically. So instead of doing that, I just use some weak material where it is to take advantage of material characteristic of material itself. Then I can make something very different from others.
I know that you have taught a lot in the past and you continue to be a visiting professor at many universities. What do you try to instill or what do you try to share with your students? What's the most important thing for architectural education? Actually,
I had a very good education. I was taught by many good professors, but I knew I cannot give them back anything. But something I can do is, instead of giving back to my professor, but what only I can do is doing same thing to the younger generation. That was my first motivation when I started teaching. But then gradually I found the other aspect for teaching. Normally architects is working for, even historically working for privileged people, rich people, religious group, big corporations and so on. And also students always want to be star architects. It's also important that we are building not only for those privileged people, but also building for general public, but even somebody who lost their houses by big natural disasters, they need houses. So we have that opportunity not only work for privileged, but also work for the general public and also the people who lost their houses.
You have often worked in areas that have suffered natural disasters, so your example is probably a very powerful teaching tool. And you said you take students to different areas?
Yes. A few weeks ago I came back from Haiti. This is the second visit I made. I first went to there in February, a few weeks after the big earthquake.
Right.
Then I started preparing the shelter project with a student in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, it's the next door country. And this time I brought 25 students, including Haiti foreign student to Haiti to build temporary shelters, but also we trained the local people to build them by themselves.
Oh, wow. What exactly did the students do? How were they involved in the project?
Well, actually, when I went to there first time in February, I went to there with a student to look for the site, to look for the people, the group of the people who need the shelter. And also then I did a workshop in their campus to teach them how to build a temporary shelter. So after I went back to home, they start making the materials, preparing the material for shelters. So that's what we have done in the first time. Then second time I went back to there. Second time I went to there with student to build the shelter that was prepared by student.
That's great. Shigeru, I just wanted to congratulate you not only for your work in disaster areas, but I know that the Mets in Pompidou recently opened, and it seems to have opened to great acclaim on the part of the people there in the city and the people who visit it. Does that give you a lot of satisfaction?
Well, as I said originally, I don't have any objection to work for privilege. Making the big monument for the city is also an important job for architects. But I was so happy to see the general public. They are really happy to see my building, visiting my building, and they said that they are very proud of this building for our city. That time I knew it, even working for a big institution, also that it's also the same time I'm working for general public, although I'm making the big monument.
Shigeru Ban, thank you again for your visit to Segovia. I certainly hope that we get to see a building of yours soon in Spain. And again, thank you for coming to Segovia.
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity.